As the news comes in today about DC Comics and their announcement that they will be using two additional distributors beyond Diamond, Lunar Comic Distributors or Lunar Distributors and UCS Comic Distributors. What do we know about them? Well, interestingly enough, they are not necessarily new players to comics, and the fact that they're arriving on the scene indicates that we're in for some very interesting times, and probably it's time for a bit of a history lesson. Hey everybody, this is Perch. We're definitely living in a world where whatever I say here is going to have other factors and other facets to it within the next 3 hours even. Things are moving very, very quickly, and kind of the bomb has been dropped on comics and the direct market with the announcement from DC that they will be adding Lunar Distributors and UCS Comic Distributors to get comics out and into the market in late April, and that orders previously placed with Diamond should be canceled and routed through these other sources. This is clearly them moving to other distribution. Diamond, to their point, is saying that they are they do announce plans to start to get things back going in mid to late May. Part of that is pragmatic, in the region that they're in. It'll be hard for them to actually get work going. I do not believe they're deemed as essential within their state. But they also have severe cash flow problems. And the combination of both those two has led DC to legally, as it looks like, break their exclusivity and move on, as those two issues would constitute some level of breach. Again, can't see the contract. I don't want to pretend that I'm speaking about this from a legal perspective, simply that the moves that are making and the fact that we do not see lawsuits flying around, we do see public statements being made, indicate that there is a shift away from that exclusivity. Diamond published the statement, "We value our partnership with DC. We continue to support them as a distributor. Our focus is squarely on getting our industry's entertainment products in the hands of fans as quickly and safely as possible. We started sharing this morning with our vendors and retailers. We are currently building our restart plans and targeting mid to late May to begin shipping new weekly product. If we see signs that it is safe to resume shipping earlier, we certainly will. However, with the limited number of retailers open and most customers on stay-at-home orders, our focus is on supporting the industry and the health and safety of our stakeholders." This is probably the happiest, most formal statement that Diamond can make to this announcement of DC, particularly when you start to dig into who are Lunar Distribution and UCS Comic Distributors. Well, curiously, both entities seem to be relatively new arrivals. They were both formed, or at least functioned, within the last 2 weeks. So this is new. And this appears to be some of the outreach that we heard members of DC were making behind the scenes of to how to get things moving again. Because digging in the UCS Comic Distributors appears to link back to Midtown Comics. Midtown Comics is certainly one of the largest stores in the United States. They have a reputation of being an anchor. They have basically 3 shops in Manhattan, but they do a massive e-commerce business. They've been operating since 1997, and they really have a hold, certainly on the northeastern part of the country. And they're also very friendly with DC. They've been a long-time partner and friend to them. So the fact that this appears to be connected with Midtown is both a good and a bad thing. So a good thing in the sense that, okay, so the person doing this is not new to comics and understands some of what it means. The bad thing potentially is it is giving a significant amount of power to one shop. So this is going to definitely raise some eyebrows of other retailers out in the world who see Midtown getting empowered. Now, as is noted in a couple articles here, it's not like this hasn't happened before. If you go to the late 80s, kind of early, that time period, you had a lot of different distributors out there. You did not just have Diamond. You had Capital City, you had Mini, and one of them was a company called Pacific Comics. Now, Pacific Comics was a combo of both a kind of a publisher and a distributor in one, and there's also a lot of ties into comic shops into retailers as well. And this was all kind of part of a venture that Eric Stevenson was involved in. If you remember, of course, that name is relevant, as this is an Image Comics, the publisher. I'm forgetting Eric Stevenson's title right now, and I'm sorry for that. I should be more on top of that. But Eric Stevenson kind of dipped his leg back into Pacific Comics at one point. But regardless, the other company, Lunar, does a route back to an operation that's owned by DCBS. Now, who is DCBS? DCBS is a very large, pre-order, mail-order comic group. So they've been a distributor of trade paperbacks and basically mail-order comic service. That is interesting in the sense that I would be curious what their contract with Diamond looks like, because that could be an interesting sticky situation, although the same kind of breach stuff I'm speculating on may apply here. But this group, the Lunar distribution, arguably has a much better infrastructure, I would guess, than Midtown. And Midtown's done a lot of mail order. They certainly can do things, but I think Discount Comic Book Service has done quite a bit more and has had an operation that's been going for a bit of time and has a nice global footprint. Now, both of these groups are looking to be able to ship throughout the US and Canada, and both have a very strong network, and I would be willing to bet that somebody internationally is going to be announced soon as well. But what does all this mean? Well, it certainly means that the old days of Diamond being the only game in town are officially over. Not speculate that it is over. The best, if Diamond wants to return to that one only scenario, they're going to need to get a bunch of capital very quickly, and they're going to have to hope that these two other entities fall on their face. Unfortunately, the idea that Lunar and UCS, I mean, given the backgrounds of the people behind them, Midtown and DCBS, Discount Comic Book Service, they're not new to the plate. They've done this before. The odds of them falling on their face are extremely small. And so I think that is definitely a feather in their cap, and it's something that gives people, I think, a lot of confidence, gives the retailers a lot of confidence that this can work. And at this point, even though retailers are for years were exhausted about the idea of having to order from multiple different places, the various problems that have stacked up with Diamond over the years, most likely retailers are going to be cheering this move, both because it gets comics in hands of people earlier, and they're also going to view it as a way to kind of spurn some competition. Midtown and Direct, it just does not roll off the tongue. Direct Comic Book Service, DCBS. Both of them are going to be very motivated to grow their business and expand. And while they'll certainly participate to get us through this current situation, they're also not going to collude and force things down. So I think we are going to see an injection of some healthy competition. But this is a big moment. I think I can't understate enough that this is huge. And like I speculated in the earlier video, it's hard to say where this goes in terms of, is Marvel going to be involved? Is DC going to offer it up for other people to use? I'm sure in the agreements they would structure, there would be the opportunity for Midtown and DCBS to expand to include Marvel and Image and others. And I would expect in the weeks to come, others will follow suit. Marvel probably last of all, just based on Disney and their very nature of kind of being shy about getting themselves into legal trouble, not shy about creating legal trouble for others. They may be the last ones to the table, but if Image joins in on this and we start to see some of the others like Dark Horse and others move, then I think Diamond is really in significant trouble, because these two have the infrastructure to make it work. And, why need three, especially if one is behind on payments and having trouble just staying afloat? It can definitely change the world for Diamond, and in a bad way. They likely have a lot of outstanding issues that, without the prediction of capital that they had going. I mean, think about it this way: if they were this short on capital, this tight to the line, when they were owning the entire game, being able to dig out of this hole with both the setbacks they've had and now, a third of the pie or maybe less, that's going to become an incredibly hard thing for them to do, just pragmatically. So an interesting movement, interesting to see some of the names behind these faces, and we will see where it goes from here. Do you have questions, thoughts? I'm sure you do. So leave them in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Share this video with friends if you can. And follow me on Twitter at Comic Perch. Thank you for listening.